Hey everybody, Trial Junkie here. Welcome to my channel. I thought I'd come on today and share a little bit about who I am and why I'm here and why I'm doing what I'm doing. You see, I'm a survivor. I had a terrible experience when I was 11 years old. I lived my whole life with PTSD, not knowing that's what it was. And a few years ago, I had fallen into a depression. I had lost my mom. I was grieving. And I was also doing research on who it was who I believed was my offender. I believe I found that person. And it's not only myself that believes that, but at this event in 1973, there were 3 little girls, 2 11-year-old little girls and a 10-year-old little girl. I was one of the 11-year-old little girls. The 10-year-old girl got a hold of me about 10 years ago. We hadn't spoken since we were 11 and 10 years old. And that started me on a journey of trying to find out who had done this. Last October of 2024, I contacted Lauren with Hidden True Crime. Lauren was so gracious. I had decided that I was going to tell my story. I'd come through my depression. God healed me, gave me a divine intervention. And I was ready to come out and tell my story. I'd come to terms with what had happened. I no longer felt bound by the chains of PTSD. And I wanted to help other people. I wanted people to know that they could be healed too, and that as a survivor, we're strong and we're brave and courageous. After one email to Lauren, the very next morning she responded, "I want to talk to you." We had a phone call. We did a trial interview, and then we did a recorded interview. And my interview is on Hidden True Crime's channel with Lauren Matthias, and it's called "I Survived a Serial Killer." At the end of that interview, Lauren said to me, "Well, you're a survivor. You've told your story. What's next?" I had no idea. I felt guided by God to tell my story. I did it. I was really proud of myself. I really had never felt that way ever. I had a lot of reasons to be proud of myself, but I could never see my value. Well, that got me thinking. And right after my interview, October 24, came the trial of Richard Allen. Richard Allen was arrested in October of 2022 for the homicides of Liberty German and Abigail Williams in Delphi, Indiana. And I came to watch the trial because that's what I like to do. I'm a trial watcher. I'm not a sleuth. Even though I always do start digging into the background of these stories that come out at trial. I think the first one I dug into was Murdaugh. It was the first time I realized that YouTube was here and there were people talking about this. And so I came to watch. I knew absolutely nothing about Richard Allen or the Delphi murders, about Liberty and Abigail, their families, the community. I knew nobody there. I still know nobody there. obviously there was no coverage of the trial, which, I think was a surprise to me. But I ended up trying to watch Lauren for a little bit. I found it frustrating. It was definitely a frustrating process to have to watch a YouTuber who had to line up outside the courthouse, couldn't take in water, couldn't bring in their phones, could have a pencil and a pad of paper. Now, I know for myself, if I was the one sitting in that courtroom, there's no way I'd be able to write down everything I heard. It was impossible, but that's how we were forced to get our coverage. I ended up watching a little bit of Andrea Burkhart too, and she is extremely thorough, but her videos were really long for me. So what happened was I ended up watching the WTHR coverage, and they were able to break it down into a half-hour video. So I was watching WTHR, and the more I learned daily about what happened during the trial, what evidence was coming out, the more I was convinced that something's really wrong here. I'm not learning a thing about these girls. I don't know what happened to them. I'm not seeing any evidence against Richard Allen that I can believe. And I came to the conclusion that Richard Allen did not do this, and I expected to hear a not guilty verdict. Not guilty verdicts don't happen very often. Usually the prosecutor gets it right. But in this case, something's wrong. And there's an innocent man sitting in prison who's been there for 3 years. He was almost killed, being held in solitary confinement for 13 months in Westville Prison in Indiana, being guarded by the very people that his lawyers believed committed these crimes, or at least associates of those people. So I began to dig, and I dug, and I dug, and I dug. I also have intuition, and my intuition has become even stronger since my divine intervention. And my intuition tells me that Liberty and Abigail want people to know what happened. It was just, I want you to know what happened, was the message that I received. I think I pretty much know what happened at this point. We now have the trial transcripts. We can now have the appeal that's been filed. And I just hope and pray that the right thing happens in this case, that Indiana does the right thing. Nobody pressuring anyone to do anything other than what is right. Sorry to be so dramatic, but that's who I am. And I've been in chats, and people know who I am. I mean, they've seen my name. I have been a pro Richard Allen from day one. Never once. I mean, like I say, I'm brand new. I'm not part of any group. I've never been in a Discord. Don't go on X. Try to rely on court documents. Don't pay a lot of attention to rumor and what people in the community say, because it seems like everybody has a side. So on my channel, I will be covering trials. I will be covering Richard Allen's appeal. I will be sharing my information that I have been working on for the last year. And I hope it helps, like everybody else here. Thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people all over the world trying to understand this case, trying to understand what happened to Abigail and Liberty. And now, what happened to Richard Allen? So thank you for being here, and I thank you for watching my video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe. And I will be sharing a lot of information. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening and weekend and holiday.